Munchies, welcome to the channel if you're new or if you're not. I'm Alyssia and I'm so happy you're here either way. Today I am sharing some easy 5-ingredient desserts that are sweet and satisfying. We've got PB Jam Thumbprint Cookies, those classic Buckeyes, and some Strawberry Shortcakes. How in the world are we gonna keep these so simple, light, and delicious? Today's video is sponsored by Truvia, and I will be using their new Sweet Complete and Confectioners sweetener to lighten up these without compromising taste. Let's start with those cookies. The 5 ingredients needed for this recipe are creamy peanut butter, Truvia Sweet Complete, an egg, vanilla extract, and your favorite jam or preserves, so these are actually flourless and gluten-free too. Mix together that peanut butter, sweetener, egg, and vanilla until well combined. The great thing about Truvia Sweet Complete is that it measures out cup for cup like sugar, so I actually took another thumbprint cookie that I know I love and I swapped the sugar for Truvia, and you can do that for your favorite recipes too. That is our dough, and it needs to be refrigerated for 30 to 45 minutes to chill. Then we can roll the dough into balls and add them to a baking sheet. Press them down slightly and add the classic thumbprint. I actually prefer to use the end of a spatula because it's a little bit easier and more precise. Then spoon in that jam and into the oven they go until browned on all sides. Wow! It is amazing that without any flour, we can make such a rich and satisfying cookie thanks to that peanut butter. And paired with the jam, it's a perfect combination, of course, but the most awesome part is that you would never know these cookies are lower in sugar and calories thanks to Truvia Sweet Complete. I know that some people are hesitant about stevia because it can have an aftertaste, and I typically am too. But because of the blend of stevia leaf extract, chicory root fiber, and erythritol, somehow Truvia was able to nail it. It tastes delicious, and I was honestly really impressed with this product. Okay, next we are making one of my favorite treats, Buckeyes. Some people turn to these during the holidays, but I think they are too good to only have during one season of the year. The 5 simple ingredients are peanut butter, softened butter, vanilla extract, Truvia confectioner sweetener, and chocolate chips. Mix together nut butter, softened butter, vanilla extract, and Truvia confectioners, which again measures cup for cup like traditional confectioner sugar and recipes, but provides 0 calories. So you can use it to lighten up any frosting, glazes, or fudge recipe that you already love. And roll that goodness into balls and place on a cookie sheet lined with parchment or wax paper. Add a toothpick to the top of each ball and freeze for 30 minutes to an hour. Before removing from the freezer, melt your chocolate chips in the microwave or using the double boiler. I prefer milk chocolate, but dark is of course fine too. Dip each frozen peanut butter ball into the chocolate, leaving a small bit of that peanut butter ball exposed at the top. Then you can transfer to a cookie sheet and remove that toothpick, smudging over that hole if you want to, totally don't have to, and then refrigerate until you're ready to serve. Holy moly, I recommend making these for a group because you are gonna end up with a lot of them and they're a little bit too delicious. Buckeyes with butter are where it's at. I know it can be done without, I've done it, but I like the real deal. And part of what I love about Truvia is they agree there is no one way to do wellness. If you're listening to yourself and you're doing what feels true to you, then yeah, you're doing it right. For me, that means butter in my Buckeyes and milk chocolate instead of dark. Truvia's confectioner sweetener lowers the calories and the sugar anyway without complicating the recipe or compromising the taste. From my healthy journey, what's worked for me is finding a balance where it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but instead a middle ground that supports the lifestyle that I want without feeling limited or out of control. Okay, I am most excited for this last recipe, Strawberry Shortcakes. The 5 ingredients are strawberries, of course, Truvia Sweet Complete, self-rising flour, heavy cream, and vanilla extract. Self-rising flour already has the salt and baking powder mixed in, so it's an ingredient that lets you skip a couple of steps. Toss your strawberries in a bit of Truvia Sweet Complete and set aside. Separately, combine flour and 1 tablespoon of Sweet Complete. Then add in some of that heavy cream. I prefer to use a wooden spoon until a lumpy dough forms. You don't want to overmix this. Then let the dough sit in the fridge for a couple of minutes, and then you can divide it into pieces for your biscuits. Onto a baking sheet they go, and I do recommend brushing the tops with a little bit of heavy cream. Not a mistake. Then they go into the oven and bake until they begin to brown on top. In the meantime, whip up the rest of that whipping cream with your hand or stand mixer, along with another tablespoon of Truvia Sweet Complete, or you could actually use the Truvia Confectioners here too, and some vanilla extract. When the biscuits are out of the oven, split them open, top them with strawberries and cream, and enjoy. Oh my gosh. Those biscuits though, actually I need to bring your attention to the fact that those biscuits were only 3 ingredients and are delicious on their own. But of course, the fresh whipped cream can't be beat, and neither can those sweet strawberries. This was like my favorite dessert from childhood, and so it was really fun to bring it back with simple ingredients and lightened up. Truvia Sweet Complete and Truvia Confectioner Sweetener are both available now on Amazon using the link in the description. They both taste great and are easy to incorporate into the recipes that you already love. I hope you found these 5 ingredient desserts fun. Let me know which one you want to try most in the comments. And I also want to know, how do you find balance with your health journey? What compromises will you make or not make? I love butter and milk chocolate, so those ones are going to stay with me. Thanks for being here, and thanks to Truvia for sponsoring this video. I will see you next week, and remember, it's all a matter of mind over munch.